Good afternoon, guys. Hope everyone is feeling good today. My name is John. I am going to discuss communication, forms of communication. Specifically, I'm going to go over non-verbal forms of communication. I'm actually going to cover kinesics, haptics, physical appearance, artifacts, and environmental factors. With kinesics, it's actually a form of communicating with body motion, body positions, how we sit, how we communicate without saying anything, like to be quiet or shh. These are gestures that we can do. Again, facial expressions. These are ways that in kinesics that we communicate. Now, there are other ways that I'm going to go over, especially like haptics, because that actually deals with touching and communicating by touch. Unlike, of course, kinesics, where it was just motion and gesture. Here, we're actually talking about like a high five, introduction of a handshake. We're talking hugs of affection, or even pats on the back of, good job. This is a form of nonverbal communication. I mean, a simple high five in a celebratory way, without saying a word, or saying a lot. Again, this was haptics and how we communicate just by touch. Another form that I'm going to discuss is, of course, our physical appearance and how other people view us and how we're already telling something about ourselves just by our physical appearance. With and this is something that we might not. Sorry, this is something that we might not have control over, like our sex, age, our skin color, features that we've done, features like beard, sex like whether male or female, age, of course, appropriate things, and the skin color. All these are things on how we can communicate and how we receive communication. And people either will prejudge us or do a certain way to communicate with us because they can see this obvious ways. Now that's one way of how physical appearance is, or those are ways of how physical appearance communicates. But another way is artifacts, and these are things that we put on ourselves that we do have a choice in how what we're saying to people. Things like our clothing, just our what have we put on, shirts or pants that will indicate what style we like or where we come from. Things like jewelry, religious items, religious jewelry. These are things that will indicate again what we believe, what background we're coming from. Some of these items can even tell what our culture is without us even speaking a word. Again, this is a form of non-verbal communication. One of the last things I'm covering is environmental factors. Just how the room is, what area you're on, whether you're inside or outside, the lighting of the room, the color of the walls. Those actually matter when speaking, public speaking. It matters on what you're trying to say or what mood you want to put your audience in. But this is what you're communicating non-verbally. You're actually doing sometimes, even just how the room smells, having proper, flow of air makes a difference. Temperature, even being hot, can put people in frustration mode or rush. And again, these are ways on how people can actually manipulate the temperature to make people feel like that. These were all just some things that popped out at me about nonverbal communications. Again, kinesics is how the body communicates with just gestures, body motions, and how we can make how we feel, can tell other people how we feel. Haptics just by touching and high fives and handshakes. Of course, we talked about just the physical appearance of age, sex, skin color. These are things that communicate things to people. We discussed, of course, the types of artifacts that we put on ourselves and what that tells people, and of course the environment and what kind of setting we want to be in when we communicate something to people. So all these things are forms of nonverbal communication. Thank you for taking the time to be with me, and I can't wait to see everybody else's presentation. Thanks.